What? We're talking about mirror writing. Yeah, mirror writing. Hi friends, welcome back to another episode on Practical Penmanship. In this week's video, we're going to be talking about mirror writing and whether or not it's practical. Stay tuned. So mirror writing is the act of writing backwards. And when you write in mirror image, you write from the right side to the left side of your piece of paper. One of the first things that I teach my students when it comes to mirror writing is that they have to visualize the letter in their mind's eye. So when it comes to visualizing the letter, one of the first things I do with my students is I have them actually draw the letter in space with two hands simultaneously. So for example, let's take the letter A to start. Really simple letter to start off with. So what I have my students do is they visualize the letter in their head, the cursive letter A, and then they move their hands through space as if they were drawing that letter. Now the trick here is you do it with both hands simultaneously. You'll start with the right hand and you'll just allow for the left hand to follow your movement through that letter. And when you do this, as if you're conducting an orchestra, you will see that the two hands will want to move simultaneously. So when we write the letter A in space with both hands simultaneously, the left hand will intuitively write that letter in mirror image. So we did this a few times, visualizing the letter very well in our head. And then the goal is to move with the left hand by itself through the letter in mirror image. And you want to see the letter in your head. You want to see the mirrored version of this letter in your head. Here's the letter A forward. And here's the letter A backwards. And so you can see if we move with both hands simultaneously, we can begin to visualize the letter in this way. So once you have a very good mental picture of the flow of a letter, you can move on to creating some of these images on the paper that you're working with, or a whiteboard or chalkboard, whatever you have to work with. And you can plot out the flow of the letters using arrows. And when you're mirroring the plot flow of the letter, you will move in the opposite direction horizontally. So what I like to do is I'll fold the paper in half with my students, and we'll use this center crease as a guideline or a reference point. So for example, in the letter A, you start at the top right corner of the letter. You move towards your reference line in the center. You loop around in a counterclockwise rotation away from this reference line and back towards your starting point, and from there you check out of the letter with a downward stroke and move into your next letter, or you end the letter there. And so when you're doing this mirror image, you will write from the top left corner of the letter and you will move towards the reference point, but this time in a clockwise rotation around and away from that reference line back to your starting point. You can do this for trickier letters such as the letter P or the letter D, which is often a tough letter for people. And there's some exercises that I introduce my students to. So for example, we start off in the first week of class using loops and using C's to create this wave-like form. And in this way, we can reference these two formal movements in other letters as well, because the loops transfer over to the letter B and H and K and F, and the wave-like motion in the C transfers over to letters such as the letter A and D and G for these clockwise and counterclockwise rotations. You can apply this, like I said, to any sort of writing exercise that you may be interested in. So for example, I will practice the Palmer method, mirror image with my left hand. I will go through the compact oval drills and the slant exercise and write using the whole arm in mirror image. And this has really expedited my improvement on the right side through the Palmer method and using that muscular movement that is sometimes very challenging for people to convert to. And I have found much success in doing this, so I continue to do it. I was specifically asked by a left-hander how they should approach mirror writing. You have two options. You can mirror write with your left hand, or you can mirror write for the ambidextrous advantage with your right hand. I know that mirror writing with the left hand is easier than mirror writing with the right hand. And this is because pulling across the page seems to consistently be a more natural position and flow for anybody who's handwriting. But if you want to mirror write for the sake of an ambidextrous advantage, you'll have to mirror write with the right hand if you're left-handed. Mirror writing with the right hand is very similar to writing forward with the left hand. So if you're a left-handed person and you want to mirror write with your right hand, all you have to do is very keenly observe how is the left hand performing this task. How does the left hand write forward? And apply that observation to your right-handed mirror writing. So you're doing the exact same motion and applying the exact same form, just everything is now mirrored. Some of the advantages of mirror writing are, like I've described, this option to embrace it ambidextrously for the sake of improving your dominant side more quickly. Another advantage that comes with mirror writing is letter recognition and the visualization of letters. So a lot of penmen will advocate studying twice as much as practicing your handwriting, because being able to see the letter in your mind's eye is really the first step in beautiful handwriting. If you can't see the flow of the letter and have that ideal image of what a cursive written letter should look like in your mind's eye, you'll never be able to reproduce it through the hand, because you don't know what you're aiming for. You don't know what you're trying to create. So through mirror writing, you can actually understand the letter to a greater degree. Once you have a good mental image of what a letter, a cursive letter, should look like, what the flow of that letter is, you can do some really interesting things with writing in general. So I've taught myself not only to mirror write, but I've also taught myself how to write letters upside down. And in doing this, it came fairly naturally. I didn't have to study too much because I already had a very good picture of what the letter should look like, and it was no problem for me. So now I can mirror write and write upside down, or mirror write upside down. So you can have a lot of fun with this sort of technique and do some really interesting things. So for example, I just wrote an upside down F backwards through the letter and then converted into a forward F. No real practical reason for that. So mirror writing is a lot of fun, but there are a lot of practical advantages that could come from understanding letters in a mirrored fashion. Get more creative. So friends, if you give this mirror writing a try, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know how it went. I have had another viewer comment in one of my videos saying that the ambidextrous mirror writing has expedited some of his progress when it comes to handwriting with his dominant hand. So I think it is definitely worth a try if you would like to see some quicker results. I do warn you though, it takes a long time for that non-dominant hand to reach a level of proficiency. But regardless of how quickly that is improving, your dominant side is going to improve more quickly. So if you're interested in seeing how long it took me to really gain some proficiency with my left hand, I have a video on progress and what my penmanship progress looked like. So you can check that out in the cards somewhere in the top left corner. And if you have any questions about that, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and I hope this helps you in your own handwriting journey. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have a practical penmanship video coming out every Tuesday. If you stay tuned till the end, make sure you hit that like button. If you hated it all, hit the dislike button. We'll see you guys next week with a practical penmanship video.